Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League. I am Reed Rapid Melton, and joining me, of course, is Daniel Egad Caruso. We're going to hop into what I believe is our next to last game of the night. It's going to be, I guess, one of the more interesting matchups. We've got LoLPro taking a return trip to the Rift, taking on team, we just had LoLPro taking a return trip to the Rift. Well, I guess that was their first one. They will be back a little bit later on. And while their last game was, of course, versus Team 8, they're going to go up a letter tonight here and take on Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. And I really want to see like a team with 10 in their name or like 7 in their name so we can like go up the entire number line. But for now, it was a previous game with 8. Now it's going to be Cloud9 versus LoLPro, hopping into champion picks and bans. So let's go ahead and get this game underway. You may notice a little bit of a change to their roster a little bit, as I believe last time it was actually Laud who was playing the mid lane, and now it is going to be a return to the mid lane for NY Jackie.
Yeah, and if you count that last game, he's playing top lane, so he's been all over the place from ADC and all that. But it's going to be the old roster excluding Laud, not an ADC now. It's going to be Hood Stomp and Jackie comes back, so they lose other bans. It's the same thing. And Cloud9 will just ban away Alulu. Kha'Zix, he's going to be something we see banned pretty much every time. First pick, first ban.
Yeah, you will actually notice maybe a little bit less focus on, well, specifically Kassadin, because he is no longer allowed in the tournament because of the rework. Yep. So you rework a champion, it's a little bit new, and you don't want to have that throwing off competitive play. So he's not going to be one of the champions you see banned, which may throw you off. It's like, why aren't people banning Kassadin? Well,
what?
It's because he just got reworked. And I don't know, rework's actually a little bit interesting. We can talk about that a little bit later on.
Someone's going to find something and be like, Rod of Ages 3 tiers. Oh my god!
Yeah, somebody's going to find like that one build that all of a sudden makes him super broken again, and all of a sudden he's going to go back into ban jail, and everybody's going to be a little bit sadder.
It'll only be a 75% ban rate.
It's true, it's true. It's full 20% less than it used to be.
Yeah, there we go.
It's like 24%. Yeah. It was pretty crazy there for a while. But without any bans, it will be just 3 bans here for Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, and that's, of course, going to be Lulu, Kha'Zix, and Draven.
Yeah, Draven away from Hood Stomp. It's one of his go-to champions, one of his most comfortable ones. So take it away. But
hey, his most comfortable champion is Graves.
Oh,
Everybody
Graves.
remembers the good old days of Hood Stomp Graves GG, which then became, I believe, CLG Black, and now has dispersed mostly into Vulcan or XC.GG in various forms. And then, of course, like I think Link was on that team, and now he's, of course, on CLG. So it's nice to see teams and players sort of diffuse through the professional scene. And, well, these have wound up here, rather. LoLPro looking to take down Ryze for the first pick. Now, Ryze is a champion that we used to see in competitive play all the time in mid lane. Then he got hit by the Nerf bat, and by hit, I mean clubbed to death. Had all of his spell ranges reduced by a ton and had just drastic changes all over the board. And all of a sudden, as you may expect, he stopped being played. But with the decrease in sustain for the top lane, all that harass and damage starts to matter a little bit more, and Ryze really good at doing it.
It's good to see him come back. Like, he was one of the better duelists. Like, he could sustain with that ultimate. He would have a route to set up ganks. He could poke you out really hard with the Qs if you were at Sapphire Crystal and such. And it's refreshing to see him come back to top. We're going to see Nidalee get locked up for Bishu. Obviously, they couldn't ban it away. So he's like, hey, guys, Nidalee, mid lane, let's go AP. We're going to see a lot of poke. Probably could set up with a poke composition with the Caitlyn for Altec. Or he could go Lucian. You know, Cullen clears out waves. You get Piercing Lights through it, too, if anything. But Altec comfortable on either of those two. Most likely he could set up the Caitlyn. Then pick up like an Annie support or Thresh, because that's still open, too.
Right, and I believe in Cloud9 HyperX Tempest's previous game today, which they did win, it was actually a ban on Nidalee against Bishu.
Ooh.
This time around, Bishu actually going to get to play that champion. I think we're going to see why Curse Academy may have banned that out. So getting into the next couple of picks here for LoLPro, I want to see maybe a focus on the mid lane here. We didn't see Ziggs ban, and with that being Jackie's champion, yeah, it's an insta-pick for Ziggs there in the mid lane.
All right, and a Lee Sin for Heaven Time. So, not bad. Here we come in for the jungle for that one. Going to see a more rounded composition this time. They have really good late game, really good wave clear with the Ziggs. He can just pretty much solo clear by himself if they start seeing some sieges come down. So it's not a bad response. Cloud9, they could go for the top and jungle or top and support. If no, the jungle support. Excuse me. So they save the top pick
jungle
for
and support,
Yuzuki.
then save one counter pick for later.
Yeah.
Usually you want to save your mid lane for the counter pick, but having both of them.
He's Nidalee.
Yeah, so there's no questions asked about that Nidalee pick. Now, back in the day, Yuzuki actually did play a little bit of Bruiser Nidalee, but not enough to pull it out here. So we're still looking for that big top lane pick on Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. And when you already know what you're playing up against top lane in that Rise, maybe you want to pick that a little bit earlier on and maybe save jungle for last. There's not a whole lot of people wanting to really... I feel like people still want to pick Elise, but that's kind of a holdover from last patch because there are some pretty substantial changes this patch around. We're going to see how much they matter as Elise is locked in here for Cloud9 Tempest.
All right, so despite the nerfs, we'll see her going into the jungle for Kez. I've actually been playing against it and playing with it. It's still not bad. You get that CC, you get a little bit of damage. It's not as much, but she still can become that tank, still build AP. The double penetration with the haunting guys and Sork shoes, and it's still not that bad. Hood Stomp, going to be looking at Varus possibly again, or Graves, either one. Varus lacking mobility, Graves does have that dash, if anything, and a slow in the smoke canister. So could see Sona pair with that, and locked in instantly. Crescendo into, buckshot, collateral damage, not bad. Or, culling, piercing light. Or, okay, it's going to be into the Chain of Corruption and the piercing arrow.
All right, well, there you go. It's a lock-in on the Varus that we saw last game. Now, this time it'll probably be played as an AD carry, but the big thing to notice is that, Arctic Ops looks freaking cool.
Yeah, those effects actually look sick. He shoots on a chain for the Chain of Corruption, which is pretty cool.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, he shoots out some Arctic chains.
Gosh. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely go give that a look. But the other thing that's important to notice is that with that super poke combo, it's low on his comfort pick and really across the board, just comfort picks by and large here for LoLPro. Whereas if you look at Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, they have a couple of comfort picks. Kaz is going to be on the Elise, and then of course Bishu on Nidalee. But it's going to be that last pick for Lomo Nation, aka Yuzuki. If he goes for maximum comfort pick, it's a Kha'Zix's top lane, but that's been banned away, so probably should just be Shyvana or Renekton.
Oh god, Kha'Zix's lane now? With the buffs to his ultimate? Oh my god, that's so scary.
You ult, you just step into the bush, ult out, and all of a sudden you and the jungler, what if it's like a jungle Evelynn?
Oh god.
And you just like appear out of nowhere and blow somebody up. That's something I want to see.
Next level strategy. So it's going to be Shyvana for Yuzuki up top, so it should be a pretty interesting lane. He's going to get poked out. Could be pretty rough for him.
Right. It's up to Rise to really abuse Shyvana early and just punish her hard.
If she runs at him with burnout in the early stages, it's going to be hard to deal with that anyway.
Yeah, you have to bait out the runic prism or the rune prism. Yeah, and that cooldown by itself really just defines this top lane matchup. That and like the burnout cooldown.
Yep.
It's all about closing that distance. So we're going to check that out. It does appear as if champions have been chosen, team comps have been set, and we are going to get into our 5th game of the night here at NACL. But before we do that, we're going to shed it over to a quick commercial break. And you can see where Dan's pointing. It's, well...
not the NACL sign, obviously. Down below. If
down below the screen.
Just appeared underneath
below the
overlay.
Twitch channel.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, if you head down below, just scroll down with your little mouse wheel. You can check out Loot Crate. You can see the crate of loot there, which is almost exactly, but not quite, what you get sent to your door for $13.37 a month. It's full of sort of nerdy geek gamer gear and swag and all kinds of cool stuff that you can check out by heading over to lootcrate.com. You can also click the Phoenix button to check out Phoenix peripherals by heading over to phoenixcollection.com and seeing all of the fabulously, I think the word I'm supposed to be using is impeccably, but I can never remember exactly where I'm supposed to put that. It's just safe to say that it describes all of their gaming peripherals, their headsets, mouse pads, mice, and keyboard, all of which you can at least just go check them out at phoenixcollection.com.
And then, last but not least, you got LoL Class. You just put into a nice little stream, all streamed just personally for you and hundreds of people, and you get to get your questions answered by your favorite LoLPro on their favorite champion in your favorite role. They've had Hotshot and LeBlanc. They've had Pantheon for Odd One. So you get all the favorite LCS pros in there. So check them out. And then obviously the wonderful music you hear while we wait for them to load in. The Monster Cat people over there, they're all awesome. They're great. So check them out too. And with that, we go to the break. And when we come back, we'll have this game loaded for you.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver. Reaching out.
There is no place and no moment in history where I could stand and say, arithmetic begins here, now.
This road's too long, I can't make it on my own steam. But it won't be long, once in a while we're allowed to dream that we're gonna make it through the night. We're gonna journey to the light. We're gonna make it through the night. Whoa, we're gonna make it through the dark. We're gonna find out who we are. We're gonna make it through the dark. No one can tell us who we are. We're that only love can ignite. And I'm fine with this. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause we were made for this. You and me, we're gonna fly away. But we're gonna make it through the night. We're gonna journey to the light. We're gonna make it through the night. Whoa, we're gonna make it through the dark. We're gonna find out who we are. We're gonna make it through the dark. No one can tell us who we are. We're that only love can ignite. The sun will rise. The sun will rise. And
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the North American Challenger League. I am Rapid. I'm here with EGAD, and we are getting into our fifth game of the night. As Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, your team in the red, and a team that's been doing very well, not only today, but all week long.
Yep.
I think only having one defeat all week. Several flawless performances. Take on LoLPro, team that's had their ups and downs, and coming in today with probably the most comfort pick kind of team comp I've seen in a very long time.
All right, and it looks like Bishu's having a little bit of lag here. Was having it before. That's probably why it took him a little while to load into the game. He's playing Italy. He said he was going to do something new on Twitter. I don't know what it's going to be. He's going to be
I'm
the
calling-
Iceborne Gauntlet, Ginsu's Rage Blade.
That build makes me so happy deep down inside. I just want nothing more than for Gwinsu's Rage Blade to come back and be an item. Because that way, if it's too good, then Gwinsu has to get in there and have his own item modded. But either way, there's a lot of fun you can have with that item, especially as a champion like Nidalee that can actually keep those stacks up all the time and get a ton of extra bonus stats coming her way by just pouncing around. It's a really cool build. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, just keep an eye on the game and we'll see how it goes. If in fact it is that build, then I get to say a giant I told you so and rub my crystal ball.
said it too.
Okay, fine. But that's only because we had that one game earlier when it happened and you didn't believe me.
I didn't believe, okay?
You didn't believe?
We could rub the crystal ball together.
Oh, my.
Oh,
I don't think we've quite gotten there yet. But either way, we're going to get back into the game.
Rapidly moving forward.
Indeed. Rapidly casting in the forward direction. And here we go. The game is actually unpaused. And here we go, getting everything back underway. DJ's trying to use his tiny Doge pause to
He
fix
can't handle the
everything.
mouse. It's too big for him. He should check out phoenixcollection.com.
For an excellent mouse. I highly recommend that. But I highly recommend us actually casting a game of League of Legends, EGAD. So here we go. 30 seconds till minions spawn. I'm excited.
Should be good. Still, late war drops coming through. No invades, surprisingly enough, for both sides. Gonna be probably just a defensive start. Nothing crazy. Red buff could be started off for Lee Sin, but he could go blue-red and then gank mid, if anything. Ganking an early Nidalee without that pounce or the Cougar form, not that bad. But, Flash could be forced out. Beach could be put in a defensive position, which would help out on Jackie a little bit.
All right, so a couple things to watch out for these early starts. One, you don't get wards until 2 minutes. Okay, you don't get trinket wards until 2 minutes. You can still place down regular wards, and I really want to see that start to happen. Another thing to notice is that Bishu is going the Xiao Wei Zhao build on Nidalee. Xiao Wei Zhao played a semi-bruiser AP Nidalee top lane. Bishu is actually going to be starting out with a Doran's Blade this time versus the Doran's Ring that Ziggs has. Now, Ziggs is well known early on for having a lot of early auto-attack trade potential.
ATP.
ATP. Auto-attack. That's like AATP.
AATP.
All right. Either way, the Doran's Blade really gives Nidalee a lot more sustain than just her heals, but already you can see Flash forced out there by Kez. Now, I don't want to see a counter flash after that. All right, but Bishu takes a turret shot. That is not what he wants. He does have that barrier out there, but no, he's just going to use that heal. Flashes out. He's got Ignite instead of barrier.
Oh, wow, and Jackie will find the first blood. Taking that turret shot, definitely just lost in that trade. He did heal up, but, he couldn't sustain through that infused auto attack from Ziggs, so he tried to harass him out early. It just really didn't work in his favor. We saw also a blue invade from LOH there. He was trying to counter out some of the pressure from Kez there and successfully pushed him back. But that was really interesting.
All right, so Heaven Time comes out of his jungle with a red buff heading to his blue, whereas Kez, like you mentioned earlier, had a very rough start to the game, and he is now at his red, but without any summoners. Of course, that flash, the smite being down is a little bit less impactful. But the big deal right now is that LoLPro had a dominant start in the bottom half of the map, but really it's that mid lane matchup that, Bishu said he was trying something new, and it's a nice strategy as long as you don't take turret shots. And I still feel like the barrier would have been a better aggressive option instead of that Ignite.
Very true. So now we're going to see him be in a very back defensive position. We have some help coming in from Heaven Time for Haunter up there. So it's going to be very interesting to see the lane swaps come into effect as Hoodstomp shove it down onto the Shyvana from Yozuki. It looks like, I don't know, but if you put Ryze in a 2v1 like we've seen teams do before, if he stays safe, doesn't get 3-man dove, he's pretty much going to look okay. Death Sentence comes in, pulls him into a trap. Really nice coordination there from Gliglabu and Altec, but now it's just the pushing is going to be crazy from both these lanes. There's a 3v2 up top, a 1v2 down bot. They're going to look for this turret very early on through the damage resistance that it has. So if they can snag that away, Cloud9 would look pretty good to put another rotation of the Altec lead bot lane.
And something as simple as nerfing Doran's shield and maybe some of the defensive mastery tree nerfs have really changed this meta all the way around. Now that you can't sustain top lane, you want to play mages top. But what do mages have problems doing very early on? Wave clear. And what all of a sudden happens again, you see 2v1 start to happen. Because while Ryze is very abusive in the 1v1, the 1v2 is substantially less optimal. So Heaven Time ooh man, that was a long death sentence, but not actually gonna hit anything. First turrets going down. First one of the game, of course, taken down by Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, and great job there by Yozuki, who was able to wave clear that out and at least keep his turret alive just a little bit longer. Now, There are two options you can go for. One, you keep pushing and try to take down the second tier top lane turret, which it does look like Cloud9 HyperX Tempest are attempting to do. Or you rotate knowing that your turret's still alive, and you put your dual lane down there and keep it that way.
I feel like this is actually a really smart call from C9, just keep pushing the tier 2, because Yazuki's actually getting a butt ton of farm. He's already 15 ahead of Hanser. So he's actually successfully wave clearing underneath the turret, not risking dying. He hasn't even used his potion yet, which is pretty surprising. And the 3-man push up top is forcing Nijaki to go up there, which is going to leave Heaven Time to fight Bishu, which is something that's really odd.
Finally, the bottom turret will fall after a lot of nice harass, but not enough to keep Hanser from, or to keep Yazuki from farming that up. Hanser, although, Rise has two very big problems early game. One, auto attack damage is very low, and he has very little wave clear besides just single target spells, unless you count spell flux, but not really all that. Spear coming out there onto Heaven Time takes him down to half health. He's heading back to base anyway, so not that impactful. But the big differences, of course, are the difference in times that it took to take down turrets and the difference between those top laners. 10 CS, of course, for Hanser's Rise versus Yazuki, who's actually feeling pretty good right now.
All right, so now with the tier 1 down bot gone, we're going to see no rotation still, just 3-man pushing up top. This is looking like early LCS season. They're forcing out Nijaki's ultimate too. That turret's still going to end up falling though. Here comes Heaven Time, a repel out comes in from Kez. This is going to be the flash chase after this one. They get the prison, they will find the kill. Hanser gets that one. A flay away will save them for the most part unless Heaven Time can connect his Q. Sonic Wave comes out. He gets Destinance though into a trap. Going to connect in. Flashes forward. Cleve Glover cannot get away. Ignite gets dropped out. Heaven Time going to fall. No, a bouncing ball from Nijaki pops most of that barrier, and Heavy Time is able to safeguard away. And a beautiful play from Team LoLPro to actually end up picking up 3 kills up there.
And just the Rune Prism, the cooldowns from using spells, and the flash in there. First time it was a safeguard. Well, first time it was a death sentence to pull these in closer.
Bishu's diving on a Nijaki. Can he get the spear? He's waiting for the barrier. He's going to throw a spear. Ooh, nice juke away from Nijaki. Just running in a straight line. You never see it coming as a Nidalee. But if Nijaki wants to go in, he does actually have a few more seconds on the flash, so he can't really do it yet. But he could have like flash pounced into like a bite.
And it's important to notice that Bishu is kind of doing the Kennen thing on his Nidalee, where you build AD early and then change into an AP-centric build later on. So it's not like he's playing Bruiser Nidalee mid lane. It could work out, but you really play Nidalee mid for a ton of CS and those big impactful spears, less so than her real split-pushing-centric focus.
The composition from Cloud9T though, oh my god, Cloud9T. The Cloud9
T9 Cloud?
Yeah, T9 Cloud. 9 CT. But it's mainly sieging, so when they get to that point where they can siege, it's going to be really hard for LoLPro to actually fight. But they're looking to make a 4-man push down bot. There's no more turrets up top for them to push. Gonna keep the rotations going and keep the pressure on these turrets. It's forcing like 4v3s and 3v2s this early on, which is pretty crazy. And they're gonna try to go snag up Dragon here with their members, as Yazuki is level 6, has Dragon's Ascent. So it could be an interesting fight for them if they do.
All right, well, Dragon is being attempted here. Cloud9 definitely having a great sense of rotations. The shot calling working out extremely well for them. Mega Inferno Bomb will come in, but there's plenty of time to take that one down. No steals there, but Hood Stomp could be in a little bit of a problem.
Dragon's Ascent comes through. That lack of mobility on Varus is so big. He's forced the flash away. Illumination gonna get initiated on by Heaven Time. He shows no fear there. Destinance connects. Hood Stomp's gonna go down here. Flayed back into the team. Bishu finds the kill with the spear to the wall, surprisingly enough. And we'll go back to that mid lane to stop Nijaki from pushing. And that push in the bot lane is going to get them a tier 1 turret.
So Cloud9 HyperX Tempest have pretty much everything in the bag with the exception of that horrible fight top lane.
Yeah.
And so while they've been able to get a lot of objectives out on the map, I think that is their 3rd turret of the game. Yeah. And of course the first dragon of the game going their way. They've got a lot of global gold. Let's start to look at where this gold is falling on LoLPro. You've got a 2-0-1 Rise. This Rise is so far ahead. He's got all of his early game itemizations just in the bag. And now there's going to be Kez taking away a red buff.
Where's that Glacial Shroud, huh? That's not all of his early game items. He doesn't
have
that
well,
yet.
What you really want is the Rod of Ages first. That's the big first item.
Core.
Because while you have that item stacking up, you've got your tier stacking up, and you can get a Seraph's Embrace afterwards. And those are really your big 2 starter items.
And let's see. Everybody's going to go back to farming out here while we do see a little bit of potential invade potential from Heaven Time. Explosions galore. I don't know if you hear that, but it was crazy. They're giving red buff over to Yazuki, and Heaventime's going to try to spot it out. He's like, oh, it's gone, but Elise isn't there, so he's going to have to assume that Yazuki ended up taking that one. And Nijaki goes back to pushing. He's actually... Is he? Oh, he's losing in CS to Bishu too, but he's got that one kill, which is pretty substantial.
It's true. Bishu did lose out that matchup early on, and hey, Egad, tell me about those items that Bishu has currently purchased.
All right, there's the Sheen and the Ginsu's in the makings, while Hansu's going to get all in by the Dragon's Descent. The Ignite, the red buff going to slow him out. Runic Prison comes through, flashing forward, going to pop the burnout and pick up the kill, as that is what we're afraid of as a Rise. You do not want to get all in. You have only your ultimate and a prison to get away, which the prison doesn't even last that long. So there is Shyvana capitalizing on that lack of mobility.
Yeah, it was really just the lack of flash there. It's all about gap closers. You have an ability to stop a gap closer as Rise with your Rune Prism. You can also stop another one by using your ultimate to just run away super fast, or super quickly rather. But Shyvana had one more. She had Burnout, Dragon's Descent, and that flash up. So 3 is greater than 2, and that allowed Lomo Nation, aka Yazuki, to close the distance there and take out Hanser. So working out really well. Bishu now going in. Doesn't quite have either one of his big completed items, but I'm pretty excited, Egad. We're going to get to see that really non-standard build, and it actually looks like it's not working out too badly.
He dropped the Ignite early too and just got satchel charged away, so decides to back off. That early Sheen damage on takedown is going to be ridiculous, and pushing turrets is going to be even easier for him now too. That wave clear from Hanser through the roof.
Ooh, it's good for wave clear, but that means he doesn't have his ultimate to run away from Lomo Nation. And neither top laner has flash. Actually, yeah, the flash coming right back up for Hanser, so that's actually okay.
Could be an interesting chase down, if anything. Red buff will fade away eventually, but if he can capitalize on it being up still, level 9 achieved, he's actually backing out. I think he feels like there's going to be a gank for Hanser. That's the only reason he's extended this far, because they haven't seen Lee Sin in a while, and he hasn't seen anybody else himself.
Well, and there's the gank actually coming top lane for Yazuki. You've got both Thresh and Elise there, Kez and Glebe Glarbu coming top lane, and there's Hanser. He does flash most of the CC coming out from the lead. The box misses as well, and now there's the flash continuing. Finally, the death sentence lands, but how many ults does it take to kill a Rise?
Glebe Glarbu was like, oh crap, I missed the flay. He flashed it. He's like, oh crap, I missed the box. All right, I'm flash hooking. We're going for this kill. But they do end up picking it up. The tier 1 turret, though, going to suffer for that, as Nijaki will find the kill in that one. And did you know that if you last hit the turret, you get a bunch of extra gold?
Yeah, that's true. Something a lot of people don't realize, kind of holdovers from last season where you kill the turret, everybody gets a gold.
Yep.
While everybody still gets gold, you get more of it if you're in the area, you get more of it if you last hit it too. So.
Ooh, Lance to pull Outtech away. Gonna get away from that sticky situation with Ziggs and Sona. So, pulled away. We're doing the Thresh thing. Blue buff coming back up. They're gonna pass over to Bishu. And Dragon in a minute and 30. We could see them start warding that up and preparing for that while a little bomb from that Jackie just stopped that from backing.
So we have two very different games starting to unfold. One is a very sort of scaling late game focus from LoLPro. And they've got it really well started in that top lane, but the other is the objective-focused game being played by Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. They want to go for these crazy rotations, get pressure where they need it in order to take down these early turrets, and they've not only accomplished that somewhat effectively during the early game, but they've also started to try to shut down this big sort of scaling battle that they're fighting top lane with Hanser. Started out 2-0, now he's 2-2 after a couple of dives.
Alright, so Ginsu's Rage playing into Blade, it's going to be really cool to see the chase that Rise tries to escape away, but still it's just become a very farm-heavy game. Still see the lead over for Bishu and a lead for Hoodstomp, just minor. BT completed for him though, even though he has that death, and BT almost completed for Outtech. He took kind of a side route into the tier 2 boots to get some more mobility for himself.
Oh, and what is that that's just been completed?
Oh, is that a Ginsu's? Oh my god,
that
you're
is
so
in fact
right.
a
Swoon, rapid dress correctly,
Man,
swoon.
Yeah, I'm getting these sick nerd chills right now. I got
Oh, death sentence and the cocoon into this one. Nijaki, they're gonna get 2-man crescendo though. He's forced the flash away. Gonna drop the bomb on top of that one. Spear comes out, auto attacks, and Dragon's Descent. Gonna chase down. Bishu finds the kill. And with that, they're going to go try to sneak in a nice little dragon that isn't up yet, 10 more seconds, but they're eagerly awaiting its arrival.
That's Gwinsu's Rageblade 1. All other items 0. The best item in the game right now, Egad. And with 0 seconds left on that dragon, we've got another dragon in the pit. Lomo Nation's going to be there. Ace in the hole over the wall onto Heaventime. Death Sentence 2. Bishu going to go in on that, and then Flay actually pulls it back, but maybe going a little bit too hard. You see those cool little ice chains coming in. Bishu going to throw down a trap as well. The Dragon does go to C9T, but they do lose LoLPro before it.
All right, so they get the global objective. Cleveland was like, all right, I'm making this play. He actually flayed the ward jump too, so it forced Heaven out to flash. Good thing Hoodstomp was there to actually throw out the ultimate and counter-engage that, so they pick up a free kill. But they're still down rough 1.3k gold lead, so they're slowly climbing up from the side of LoLPro when they start picking up some extra turrets.
All right, well, turrets are going to be kind of the name of the game, like I said earlier, for C9T. But look at Haunter, man. He gotten ganked a couple times, but he's still able to do so well here versus Lomo Nation or Yuzuki. It's always a struggle trying to figure out which name he's using. There's also a an LMQTC Lomo Cat. Still trying to figure out who that is, but I'm closing in on my goal here. But yeah, Lomo Nation is Yuzuki. You got Bishu versus Hoodstomp in the bottom lane. He misses that hail of arrows, and
Ginsu's.
ooh man, the Quinsu's power, it's starting to come into effect. All you got to do is stack it up. You can see Bishu being very, very active, trying to keep those stacks up and utilize that extra attack speed and ability power. Glebe Glarbu's coming in here. He's got his mobility boots on, but great roam from Jackie. Stops him out.
Stops Kez in his tracks. He's like, you ain't going through here. You gotta walk through the mines. And they'll back out, stop a potentially what could have been a 3v2. So LoLPro seems to manage to disengage and drop a pain cord, clear out some wards. Without a dragon, without tier 1s remaining for them, they're just gonna keep farming up these lanes, keep trying to get to the late game, I guess. But they need to start sieging up the tiers 2s here and using these spears from Italy, as well as, Caitlyn pushing power.
Yeah, farming Wolf Camp right now. I mean, I know CS is cool and everything, but this is the point where you really want to be grouping up for those big objectives. But with the entire team pretty much back to base for C9T, it's nice to see them just taking advantages where they can get it until they really group all up for these big plays. But this is kind of the difference that I see between a lot of amateur teams and, or challenger teams rather, and kind of LCS or world-class teams. And that is that they're not always doing something. They may have plans, and some of the best ones may have really, really good plans, but it's in between executions where there's this little bit of downtime. You got to send everybody back to base, get them all back out on the Rift, get them grouped up, and then shove for an objective somewhere. And that's obviously putting it way too simply, but this is actually downtime that LoLPro can use to start getting more CS up onto Haunter, who now does have that Rod of Ages we talked about. He's going to have Mercury Treads pretty soon, and even Jackie's starting to get up there in CS, still beating out Bishu in that regard.
All right, so going to see some deeper wards placed out on the blue side. Kez is going to counter jungle a little bit. Maybe set up for something mid. They could look for a turret dive, but pushing into Ziggs, that really troubling thing to do. He's also got blue buff and Athene, so infinite mana coming in for him. And they'll just keep farming away. When we get to team fights, though, the chains and the crescendo probably are going to be the things that actually decide the fight. The iJacky Bomb could end up picking up a kill or two or sniping them. If they initiate into crescendo chain and the Super Mega Bomb, that'd be actually very deadly. Haunter.
Kez coming top lane. He's going to catch Haunter out there. It's got some damage to drop. Hits the cocoon, and immediately the all-in comes out from Yuzuki. Now Haunter is going to throw down its ultimate. A desperate power. Pretty desperate, but also pretty powerful, allowing him to run away as fast as this little... what's Rise's subtitle? Something about like the exiled
High
mage.
school track star.
Well, he's looking like one with that ultimate on. Gives him 80 extra move speed back towards his turret and does survive, but was forced once again to blow his flash.
All right, and he's still stacking up that tier. He's looking for his Archangel Staff. Okay, so they're kind of just farming up the mid. They're trying to let Rise scale. He's got a bunch of CS. He's still stacking up his items. That Rod of Ages is fully stacked at this point. And
the rogue mage. I knew that's what it was. All right. I didn't actually, but I'm going to say that so I sound smarter. It's casting 101. But all right, Bishu was able to chunk out a little bit of extra damage there and force Lo to go back, well, maybe a little bit further away. But taking the express trip there out of the Wolf Camp. The push continues here as Bishu putting that extra Doran's Blade to use. Still doesn't have his Iceborne Gauntlets, but I believe he can.
I believe. Oh, it could be Lichbane. You never know. But Iceborne Gauntlet did fit in with the build.
With the way that Lichbane just got handled, I'm pretty sure either item's dead or you were just going to see other champions that don't rely on it. Because it's like, hey, you're powerful, and then your item gets nerfed. And maybe you're compensated a little bit, but still going to be a rough time for Lichbane users. Maybe we'll see Twisted Fate. Oh, I'm just kidding.
He's still pretty good. They receive, like, those minor buffs, and
Yeah.
Fizz specifically is actually really good still, even with Lichbane. I've seen the things Fishing for Earth does with that champion.
That's true. He does a lot with that champion that I don't see a lot of other people do. So, hey, if you're good with the champion, go for it. It does look like, especially with LoLPro, like I said, starting out the game with pretty much all comfort picks across the board. You can definitely tell that they are comfortable playing their composition, but with Rise maybe being a little bit of a new thing here for Haunter. I know he used to play it, but hasn't obviously in quite a while. Has practiced it up for today's game, but a lot of focus top lane from those ganks, man. He is not getting an easy lane.
All right, so Pink Ward gets dropped out there. They counter some more. Out. Cocoon connects onto LOH. They get the spear as well. A bunch of damage comes in. Ace in the hole, and he gets pulled into it.
Oh my.
Dragon's Descent comes out the box to disengage. It looks like Leafblower is going to be able to barely survive this one. The Dragon has taken up everything, and they do end up forcing him away, while Bishu's forced to back out as well. Kez is not done. He gets a bunch of damage chunked into him. Mines come out when he lands, and he gets slowed up. But a spear through the wall and through the fog of war finds the kill. And that'll be a 2 for none. Just barely people getting out from C9 side as well as LoLPro. But, you know, finding those 2 kills. Spears still coming out. Imagine if that Ginsu's wasn't a Ginsu's, it was an Athene's, and, you know, had a needlessly large rod, how much more damage you would have been doing.
I think what you're trying to say is that Gwinsu's Rage Blade successfully killing everyone, and win after win for that item continuing to stack up, EGAT. It's basically the greatest, and we'll have to see exactly how great it is, as it does put Bishu in first place for KDA.
Oh my god, this is what's going to turn into now. A contest to see if Ginsu is actually better.
Just wait until he picks up that
actual
Iceborne Gauntlet, man. That's going to be where things really take off here. C9T pulling ahead in the kill count, as they do grab one there. And also pretty ahead in the gold count as well, just from those early global objectives. And, oh, by the way, 3 dragons in their favor. Top lane turret, though, will go down. LoLPro pushing it out. And that's really what I want to see. Maybe not just a huge focus on global objectives, but do what you got to do while you keep it even.
All right, so as we watch this build evolve, it's
no,
not.
No, Bishu, how could you do it to me? I thought we had something.
Egad, it's not a Frozen Iceborne Gauntlet. It's going to be a Lichbane.
Bishu, why?
Thank you, Bishu, for doing this to
my
upset Rapid so much.
Trolled me so hard. I was expecting
so
that
sad.
Iceborne Gauntlet, but not going to make it happen. And to be honest, that's a much better buy because he's going into...
You were so adamant about the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Look.
It's the best build ever. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Lichbane, no!
It's like a double AP comp, and you got Sona AP, and even Varus does some magic damage, too. So, not the greatest comp to build a ton of armor into, but at the same time, still would have liked to see it. We're going to see how much of that Bishu uses that Lichbane, because Nidalee traditionally, like we said, a spear-based champion, or javelin-based champion. It's a javelin, not a spear.
It's technically a form of a spear.
No, Pantheon uses a spear. Javelins are
It's about the same length. You could throw a spear that far.
No, you can toss a spear that far. That's why it's called spear toss and javelin throw.
Throwing, tossing, same.
Oh, or is it, Ega? Or is it? All this and more when NACL continues.
Oh, God. All right, so
we're asking the hard-hitting questions here, Egad.
Okay, and the pause comes out. A hard-hitting pause.
It's true. The hardest hitting of pauses. And
not sure what it is. Maybe Bishu, maybe LoLPro, whatever. Still pretty fun game, though, so far. Actually looks fairly even, despite the little gold deficit that there is. Not sure what it is, but 3,000 gold deficit, it's not too big. It looks like a little bit of lag for LoLPro side, but they're done, and they're going to be resuming right now, so we're good.
All right, so back into the game, just a little bit of a hiccup there. And like we said, all right, so we've got the battle of the builds here. Finally starting to stack things up there from Haunter. He's really, really strong right now. And even though it may not look like it, he's going up against a Lomo Nation, a Yuzuki. He's actually starting to get pretty strong in and of himself. Now, against this double magic damage, and it's not just magic damage, it's not like you're going up against a Vagar. It's sustained magic damage. So the longer these fights go on, the better it is for LoLPro. But that makes magic resistance a pretty good stat to have. You can already see a lot of it out there, but
if only that was a death cap in the Athenes, that would have been so much more damage. Now there's a flay in with a box as well. They're going to slow up Nijaki. He's going to flash away. Crescendo only hits one. Chains do not connect. The bomb misses too from Nijaki. Gleek Blubber dies to ignite. Where did you come from, Yazuki? From the backline, but he gets kicked towards his own turret. The chase is on, but the bombs and the arrows coming through are so much damage. Bishu looking to chase after this one, but cannot really find a point to use that Lichbane proc, so we'll just back out while Heaven Time dashes forward. Doesn't find anything. He cannot really, insect anybody because the kick is down. but that will be a successful hold here from C9 as they're looking for possibly outside mispositioning though.
Oh,
trying to take out a
hook
hook
stomp.
stomp. No, he's not able to get it, but it will be Nidalee with that spear to pick it up. The javelin, excuse me, let me be correct here. But that's
true.
a 2-for-1 in favor of Cloud9, who actually hold up this push, and Bishu doesn't look to be done yet. Throws another spear, does connect. That would have killed if it was a death
Jackie.
cap. But now, chasing him down, his satchel charge forced down, and Bishu's able, not Bishu, Nijak is able to get away. Maybe not.
I still think he would have lived if it was a death cap down. It would have been close, but that's just the beauty of League of Legends. You only know what's happening now, not what could have happened. Because I'm pretty sure things could have been a lot more, could have unfolded much more differently. Wow, grammar's hard, guys. Today you learned. All right, so we do have a death cap for Jackie. He does not a believer in the Church of Gwinsu's.
Gwinsu's Ziggs.
It's all right. I'm just gonna leave that where it is. One Gwinsu's is plenty enough for this game, and it's actually working out pretty well for Bishu. 4-1, still the best score on the team. So sometimes you don't have to go 20-0 to win a game.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just about winning hard enough,
Okay.
and that's what he's
I
doing
dig
so
it.
far.
I dig
But
it.
he is now heading towards that Athene's Unholy Grail build, so you can see maybe deviating back towards a little bit more of a standard build. And this actually looks a little bit more like a Lulu build, with the exception, once again, of course, of that Lich Bane. Although, I think today we've seen Lulu's things like Infinity Edges, and
Well,
so...
that doesn't really count.
All right, I'm not really speaking towards too many build analysis so far. I'm just saying, looking pretty good. We do have a Bilge Water Cutlass for Yazuki, so if that turns into a Gunblade, I'm just done.
That'd be cool.
Stepping away from the casting
I'm
desk.
down for
and-
some extra AP sustain too.
Hey,
Burnout.
Darian's a believer in it.
Yeah, Darian is a believer in it. He also builds Zonias, but that's something else. We do have Heaven Time. Gonna actually fail the flash kick there and kick Altec to safety. So he actually tried that play. Isn't the easiest to do. So sometimes you do see people mess up on that, but it would have been actually pretty sick if you could have kicked him into the team. Would have been a nice snipe off. While Kess is on the side, gets caught out by Hanso, going to get rooted up, forced to run away. Spears come out. He's going to get chased down. Wow, that kick chased forever. There's the Ziggs bomb on top of it. Nijaki finds one. Root comes in at the Glee Glory. He gets crescendo as well, and Nijaki gets a double kill. Dragons up in 20 seconds. Are they going to wait for it, or are they going to push another objective?
Yeah, LoLPro, and especially that ult by Low at the very end, kind of the icing on the cake. Throwing that one in there and picking off 2 for 0, but all of that, keep in mind, started off by just a simple Rune Prism from Hanser. Started off with a catch on Kez. He was forced to try to run away, and Heaven Time actually following through with that Sonic Wave with the resonating strike and finding 2 kills there. LoLPro now even up the score at 8-8, and now it's actually them who's ahead of Turret. Now, still down a little bit in gold because they're so far down in Dragons, but hey, what do you know? Dragons back up, and it's back down with the first Dragon of the game here for LoLPro.
All right, so doing a good job to get some map control out of the kills that they did end up finding. So Nijaki putting the team on his back, getting those 3 kills. Going to be looking for a Void Staff next. It looks like Athene's has been in the works for Bishu as he looks to get some mana sustain so he can keep on sieging and poking through. What do you think the route is for this build after he gets his Athenes? Is he going to go Void, or is he going to go Death Cap? Is he going to go like Zanyas or something crazy?
You know, I'd like to see a Zhonya's. I think Zhonya's is a really underestimated item on Nidalee because she's so cooldown based. When you have Zhonya's Hourglass, it
Based
basically
Zhonya's.
just gives you a refresh on your cooldown.
All right. I like
So
it.
it's a nice item, especially since Nidalee's so mobile. That way, if you ever do catch her, she's able to at least have one last chance to hop away to safety or to like click a Thresh Lantern, something cool like that.
Okay. So the team fights now, we see them slowly going in the favor of LoLPro. They're getting some really good picks and then forcing situations where C9T can't really use their own siege comp. And they flash crescendos, going to be huge. The Ziggs bomb's doing a ton of damage already. He got his Void Staff now. Still doesn't have the Sork shoes just yet, waiting for him to finish those. And then his trinity of necessary items will be completed. They're still trying to siege on this mid lane, but once Nijaki gets in there... Oh, actually, it's going bot lane. So I guess they're going to try to hold this out from the set of LoLPro and leave Nijaki bot. Nope. Throws the ultimate. Clears out most of the wave. Oh, all the wave. So that stops that push for a few seconds until the next wave comes.
Yeah, it's really, really rough to start pushing a wave against the Ziggs because not only can he just clear the wave with his skills, he can also clear 2 waves by throwing his ult another place out there on the map. So mid lane is cleared for now, and that does mean that, at least for the time being, it's going to be kind of back to that stalemate that we've been seeing for so long. That age-old battle top lane, Ryze versus Shyvana. Pretty sure that one's going to go to Hanser now, but a ton of magic resistance now for Yuzuki.
Ooh, red buff's coming out, slowing him down. Hauser gets caught out. He's going to be trapped in the box. Heaven Time goes in with him. Bishu on the side looking for a spear. Cannot find it to connect. Kez is going to be the first one to possibly go on. Two-man crescendo from LOH over the wall. Flash over from Hauser, chasing this one down. Satchel Charge knocks him back into the thing. Bishu goes down. And Altec actually ends up finding a kill in LOH. But that's going to be a 2-for-1 in the favor of LoLPro, who are now going to look to go for Baron with a dead smite from the side of C9.
That CC chain was ridiculous. You had Crescendo into Rude Prism, into knockback from the Satchel Charge. How often do you see that one used like right after this combo? Like that's pretty slick here. And now LoLPro, like you said, starting off on this Baron. Now they're actually not that high health, and Lomo Nation's got a ton of extra damage.
Nope.
He's not going to go in. Wisely backing off, but that Piltover Peacemaker almost catching Heaven Time there. So LoLPro will have to be very careful as they disengage, but still looking very, very strong after winning a team fight and taking a Baron.
So I just got to see the replay on that fight. He tried to rappel back in onto the lantern, but it disappeared. It timed out.
Ooh,
that sucked.
rough times there.
Oh,
Leave Glarbu. He actually had a great idea, but the rappel lasted just a little bit too long. Wasn't able to come back and find it. So that was actually pretty cool. The flash over the wall into the Crescendo. A lot of nice vision or foresight there from Lo to really rely on the follow-up from his team.
All right, and now Baroned up. Team LoLPro looking strong in this game, having a much better time. And HyperX really on the back ends here. They haven't been able to siege. They haven't really been able to successfully poke out anybody important from the side of Team LoLPro. This build, I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, like it's not accomplishing the split pushing, not the split pushing, but the poking objective.
All right, well, the poking objective that you'd expect to see from a Nidalee being accomplished in very different ways. And like you said, if you go for that death cap into like a Void Staff, Athene's kind of build, then you are pretty all in on your spears.
Yeah.
This build actually allows Nidalee to do a lot more versatile things. The only problem is that it hasn't really been accomplishing all of those, because it turns out that throwing spears from like 1,000 range is cool, but maybe being up in melee or up in like
Cougar form.
Yeah, Cougar form, not quite going to work out. I'll tell you, those takedowns are going to hurt.
They're going to hurt like hell. The Lich Bane procs on top of it just so strong. When he finds that chance, it's going to be so good. Cocoon comes out, only hits the range minion, unfortunately. Not going to see it connect. Baron up LoLPro looking to siege down. Nijik, he has a blue buff. He's able to just keep on throwing those bouncing bombs. I thought I wanted to hit the wall. It exploded, but I guess it bounces through that wall. Pretty cool. Yeah, just now it's going to be up to Nijik to poke them out, get the Banshee's Veils off, and keep the mines a-coming as they do last 10 seconds. And since they're max second, he'll be able to lay out another set of them. Cocoon ends up connecting, but nothing really to follow up there, unfortunately, as there's the mines again. There's the bouncy bombs. Death Sentence connects in on the Haunter. They're going to not go in on that one. That is the very, very big Rise at this point. Almost Frozen Heart. Fully stacked Saris Embrace.
Yeah, and Rise just starting to be a monster. This is the late game that Cloud9 HyperX Tempest were just really worried about. They're starting to see Rise be a monster. You've got Hoodstomp's Varus that is, by the way, looking very nice and having a ton of extra items. You know, he's down maybe the difference between the BF sword and the pickaxe, but actually now a lot of damage going in onto Lo. Oh, Lomo Nation down there to half hit
Chains
points.
on top of it. Sonic Wave goes through. He gets the McHale's. He's able to flash away from the Ziggs Ultimate Spears coming out, connecting with the Nijik. And they pull Haunter back in, find the kill on him. Hoodstomp gets the turret, though. They force a flash out of there from Kez. Everybody needs to heal up to try to defend this one. Hook comes out, does not connect. Ace in the hole went through as well. Spears gonna connect there onto LOH. Or are they gonna chase any further? Satchel Charge slows them down just for a little bit longer. I'm surprised Bishu isn't like tailing them down. That Lich Bane movement speed is actually really good for chasing people down, and especially in Cougar form. Just reset
Yeah, and
the lead.
Suda soon to have a new recipe, I believe, in patch 4.5. Pharaoh Pony was talking about maybe reworking some Lich Bane build paths and putting some new super cool itemization in the game.
Just put boots into the Lich Bane.
They build out of boots.
That'd be pretty.
You can now build your boots into swords.
Boots into BT.
Dude, sword boots. I mean, Master Yi's already got those.
Oh, yes. And you activate it, you get pretty much the Build Roller Cutlass effect.
I don't know about that.
And just get rid of Build Roller Cutlass, and Blade of the Rune King builds out of those boots.
Gun boots. Hextech gun boots.
Oh my god.
Man, we're making up all kinds of good items here.
Hextech
Reto
gun
pulls. Got all the builds.
You just shoot out of your feet. Oh my god, okay, we're done.
All right, all right. This is why we let Riot do the balancing, and we just sit here and Kaz.
I'm pretty sure they've thought of, boots that shoot a slowing effect.
Shoot boots?
Shoot boots.
All right. I'm a believer. We'll have to see. Maybe you're just ahead of your time, Egad.
I'm going to invent the next greatest MOBA.
All right. And in your MOBA, you will have boots that shoot.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll remember that way down the road when I'm playing Egad's MOBA and League of Legends 2.
Yeah, right.
The legend continues. All right, well, we're back in League of Legends 1 here, and it's tied up at 10-10, but the big difference, of course, is the scaling that's starting to happen for both Haunter and Jackie, and then you also have the turret differential, which for the longest time was actually in favor of C9T, but is starting to substantially switch around. There is no turret protecting this open mid lane inhibitor for Cloud9 Tempest.
Okay, so the siege is going to still continue. There's no more Baron buff. It's up in 1 minute and 50 seconds, though, so could look to see some more offensive or defensive warning from both sides. More offensive for the side of LoLPro as they are looking to push. That Arctic Ops Dare skin, though, looks pretty sick when he's charging that arrow up to be shot out. They're just going to keep on clearing out these waves, applying the pressure, looking for the certain engage that they can get, but they got to watch out for these spears from Bishu, as they still hurt like a truck.
Yeah, and especially now that he's starting to stack up maybe a little bit more AP, I would expect to see that blasting wand be a Void Staff, just because when you look at what you're going up against, you're going to face a lot of Banshee's Veils out there. You can already see 2 of them done, and of course maybe a little bit of extra magic resistance out there from things like Mercury Treads and Chalice of Harmony. Who's just
Ooh. Wow, LOH took a bunch of damage there. Ate a trap as well for Heaven Time. Spears coming through, not connecting. This is a little dangerous for LoLPro, especially without Baron regen. If they keep getting poked out like that, the chase will be on from the side of C9T, which is what they want to do and are waiting for.
Yeah, and you can't run from a Nidalee
Yeah.
or Shyvana.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. So it's going to be up to LoLPro to not only extend and push their advantage, but also to make sure that they don't over-push and then get counter-engaged on or chased down by something as cool as the Nidalee. The other reason that I said that I wanted to see the Iceborne Gauntlets is because it gives you CDR, which is an incredible stat to have on Nidalee. And it just allows you to chase all that much more effectively because you have both the speed up for you.
Oh, that really didn't do that much
slow.
damage. Wow. Giant Spell, actually, never mind. It did do a lot of damage. She's just a lot of health. There's another one to connect.
Low.
Taking him down to about 1/3 of his HP. Gonna see Bishu still hanging around that side, looking for those max range spears. Keep them connected, and they could look to start a fight. But, so does heal. Not that long of a cooldown. Can be spammed out pretty easily. He's got him at Kales, too, for that mana regen, so helps out quite a bit.
Yeah, he is the lowest member of the team. Definitely, I don't know, he's wearing the Sona skin with the apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur. He's definitely getting low every single time he takes one of those spears. So he'll attempt to avoid those so that maybe he doesn't live up to his name or his wardrobe. Now the pushing intensifies. LoLPro looking to take down inhibitor number 1. Does go down somewhat anticlimactically. Cloud9 HyperX Tempest just completely unwilling to fight.
All right, so they give up that siege. They give up the pressure on the inhibitor, and Baron is now live. So LoLPro could sort of try to exert their pressure towards that objective. They have wards around it. There are no wards from the side of Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. So will they look to drop some wards now? As LoLPro, I feel like, is posturing to go towards that position.
Oh well, we're looking for probably the big fight, and that is anytime Pink will ping onto Baron, anytime they walk that direction. I feel bad things always happen, but it's
Do
about
you feel
which
low?
team. I do. I do.
All right, but
For right now, it's just ward coverage, so crisis averted, and I really just want to make sure that everybody understands my my intense love for Lowe's name and for American popular music, and my commitment to butchering it at all times.
One Direction,
That's the only direction you can go in.
Oh my god. You can go back, forward, left, right, up, down, side to side, diagonally.
But I mean,
There
I
is
don't
no
know.
such thing as one direction on this.
Yeah,
map.
we'll call the forward direction one direction, and if you're going back, there's probably a street that you're traveling backwards on, and if you wanted to travel down the back, I'm trying a little bit too hard here. We're gonna have to focus back on the game, but to be honest, there's not a whole lot
He
happening.
sold Rageblade.
It's oh my,
You're done.
done.
Your predicting
dead.
days are done.
Sorry, done with this build. No more Rage Blades in it. The struggle, it intensifies. Bishu leaving me for a Void Staff. Is that really all our relationship was worth? A Void Staff? Okay, that's seriously a better item, obviously, than the Rage Blade for just straight up poke, and I think that's really what Bishu's starting to go all in on. He's like, look, we got to land some big spears to make that big impact on the game, because the Rage Blade, like we said, is something you stack up over time, you use over a period of time in an extended fight, which is something that I feel like Ryze and Ziggs are going to want to fight a little bit more than Nidalee.
You sound like you have more troubles with item builds than, you know, Taylor Swift has with boyfriends. All right, so the siege now commences. We're going to look to see, you know, hail of arrows, piercing arrows all over the place, but a lot of sustain from Soda.
Oh, hood stomp,
Now the
though.
spears are hurting. Look at that void stack
All right.
now. Okay. All right, there's another one coming in, poking down Jackie. Hood stomp ate the other one. Heals could not be spammed out harder from low, as he wants to keep them fully sustained up there. His mana pool is not depleting anytime soon. He also has a giant spell that he's sitting on for a long while, maybe looking for random wins, if anything. And yeah, the siege is going to be pushing down bot. They're looking for the minions to keep on pushing down mid with super minions.
Death Sentence will miss, and like you said, yeah, mid's pushing, so you're going to have to devote at least a little bit to trying to stop that. But a nice there over the wall. Death Sentence misses again. I really feel like it's up to Glebe. If he lands Death Sentence, there's a ton of follow-up, but you also, once again, like you said, have to keep an eye on that mid lane.
Okay, so they're waiting to heal up. Altec is dealing with the mid lane pretty much by himself. He's building towards an Infinity's Edge. He's got a Banshee's Veil built in. He's also got, you know, all the damage from his trifecta build coming in. And they're getting slowly but surely the certain damage onto that turret, but it does regen, so pushing it a little bit harder. And it's almost down. Just a few more good ways we'll get it. The super minions could guarantee them, you know, this turret at least, and then they could back out and possibly pressure Baron, but the inhibitor, you know, not going to be down forever. Will end up respawning, and the super minions will stop pushing.
I'm not sure about Hood Stomp's barrier there. That was...
You know, you get scared. You sometimes, you know, just instinctively pop it out. Death Sentence connects in
Time's
onto
pretty
low.
low,
Into a trap, though. He's forced to flash away. A bunch of damage comes in. They do end up forcing out Haunter's flash too. Disengage bomb comes in from Ziggs. Their chains from Varus as well to stop up Glebe. And with that, they successfully hold that and force them back.
And that's what I'm talking about. Just, it's up to Glebe. He lands a hook, and you even saw the trap comboed with it. Like, that's pretty spectacular to have that trap placement already set up and pushing into a Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It's already really a difficult
nightmare.
thing to do.
Ah, nightmare. Those 3 traps, all the clearing she has in her waves, the net to disengage if anything goes wrong. But they do find a consolation prize in that dragon, and a rough 1,000 gold. This game actually has been probably one of the closest games that we've had here, because it's only a 1,000 gold differential between both teams.
And that's at 41 minutes.
At 40 minutes too.
But finally, Lord Baron will decide the outcome of this
The
game.
king of throws.
That's true. And in the game of throws, you win, then you lose, then you win, then you lose
Ward of the wall.
again.
Oh, he gets that sentence. Can he get in there is the question. No, he cannot. And Bishu finds the kill. Crescendo connecting in onto only one, but he dragons the sense right through. There's a cocoon on the Haunter. Death sentence as well. Ignite comes out. He's Saros embrace for a huge shield. Heaventide finds a kill on a killing spree. There's a Ziggs bomb doing a bunch of damage, finding one. Sona finds the other. They're flashing after. They want the rest of these kills. Altec is going to get chased out. Can he find the NACL net to get away? He pops barrier for that bomb. Going to be looking for the chase here. Nets away, gets the built over Peacemaker. Heaven time still pretty low. Jackie's still on the chase, but cannot find it. Decides not to die between the
Altec
turrets.
still has ace in the hole. If he gets lucky, he can kill off Heaven Time if Jackie doesn't block it. But he's also going to have to take down Low, who is already getting that Sona DPS on the middle inhibitor. It's taken down once. Now looking for takedown at number 2. And no strangers to take down Bishu. Got taken down so early on in the game. This is hero mode time for Altec. If he can either kill Heaven Time or stop. Wait a second. Hood stomp very, very low. Ace in the hole is used. And now with that no longer available.
They're still so low. He could crit, I think, Jackie twice and just kill
I don't
him.
think this is game.
No, it's not game. It's nowhere near game.
A nice disengage here. Or at least a lot of pressure put on by Altec. Just barely keeping LoLPro out of the base. That is one inhibitor down, but at the same time, Altec's still able to get back in time to save that bottom turret.
You activated my throw card. But now they can hold this one out from Cloud9. Altec still will have Baron for a long while. He's going to keep the red pot on himself. He's going to be building towards his IE, and once he has that IE, that's a huge power spike that he can need. And I'm thinking about it now, they have really no secure way besides flashing to get an ultimate onto Altec to catch him out. Besides, like, you know, a flash running prison from Haunter, if anything. But he used that the last fight, so that's a little out of the question. It's possible. A satchel charge could knock him forward if he gets in position, out of position from Jackie. But really, there is no secure way to catch him.
All right, well, how to catch a Caitlyn. How to train your Caitlyn. I don't know. But Altex definitely had some mixed performances today. On his previous game on Sivir, his positioning was very, very sketchy. Got caught out even with spell shields a number of times. He was the only one that died for his team, and then, of course, they carried things afterwards, but they generally have to stay alive as an AD carry, and he's been doing a decent job at it. Only died twice all game long, but Hoodstomp did the same thing, but was able to pick up a couple extra kills, whereas Altec does have a couple of extra assists. So the big item buy to come up next is, of course, going to be that Rabadon's Death Cap, finally picked up there by Bishu. Man, selling that Gwinsu's Rage Blade took a big hit to his gold income, but
It definitely
finally
paid off.
It's true, it's true. It is 5-3 and has the best score on his team. But no longer the best score in the game, as Jackie has really stepped up to the base, 5-2-5.
And so is Heaven Time, 309 on that Lee Sin, doing a really good job tanking everything up. There's going to be Spears, there's going to be Spiders, and a Death Sentence connects. He's going to go in onto 3, finds a box as well. The bomb from Ziggs is going to zone them away while Hoodstomp is doing a bunch of damage. They do end up finding elimination. They will take him down as the chase continues. Hoodstomp finds 2, looking for 3, 4. Is he going to get a pentakill? The Satch Charge connects. He cannot find it. Oh, wait, he got a pentakill.
That's a pentakill for Hoodstomp. Nice. All right. No plagues, just aces here, as Hoodstomp's going to put that deck of cards to rest, taking down not 1, but 2 Nexus turrets, and of course the Nexus as well. And off of an incredible performance by Hoodstomp there at the very end of the game, that is going to do it for our next to last game of the evening. And
One more.
That is a really, really strong way to end the game after a back-and-forth performance so long. Like we said, 41 minutes and 1,000 gold separates both teams. LoLPro close it out there at the end, really pulling away from the pack and definitely deserving of their wins. So they're going to go 1-1 on the day, and I believe that's going to be a 1-1 performance from Cloud9 HyperX Tempest as well. But
I don't really think you can count LoLPro's last game as a real game.
I think you can count this one as very real.
This was much, much better than that last
And
game.
just really impressive to see LoLPro very, very coordinated, unwilling to throw, and really capitalizing on maybe a rough Baron call there at the end from C9T. It was going to be rough either way, but nice way to close out the game with a pentakill.
This is what everybody likes to see.
It's true. It's true. It's a nice game, and we're going to head on to our last game of the night as 7 Wars Leon Gaming take on Email Support. Email Support.
Type in right, DJ.
All right. Email Support. We'll have that game and I guess the outro for what is our next to last day of the regular season. It's coming down to it all. I feel the recorders playing My Heart Will Go On already. It's going to be a great season, but we got to get there first. So we're going to head off to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's going to be Email Support taking on 7 Wars Leon Gaming when Season 2 of the North American Challenger League continues right after this.